Well, another exciting moment in the school garden. I've been given a rose, and it came in the post yesterday inside this big bag. Let's see. That's a chunky old plant. Temptation is always to look at the top, you know, where the branches are, but equally important, perhaps even more important, is to look at the bottom and see the roots. And there's plenty of root there. That's the important bit. That's the life support. So a little nod, a little thank you to the fine folks at Sutton's who gave me this. They didn't ask me to do this video. They just gave me the rose bush out of the kindness of my heart. I think they'd seen my our video channel and decided just to give me a rose to try out. And so the one I've gone for is one called For Your Eyes Only. Here's a picture. Isn't that gorgeous? Almost like a kind of a two-tone with that kind of with that darker centre. It's got a nice delicate perfume, and I've seen this in flower in garden centres. It's quite a newish variety, I think I'm right in saying. So that's the easy bit, unpacking your rose. The not so easy bit involves one of these. And I have, over the years, developed the fine art of picking a spot where there's lots of stones in the ground. So I'm going to have a go and see. You can see I've made a little cross in the turf there. I'm going to lift that kind of square of turf and see what the soil is like underneath there, which will be the first step to getting this rose in. We're doing this in the deepest, darkest winter. If we were doing this in the summer, it would have to be a pot-grown rose, but because this is a nice bit of footwork there, this is what they call an open ground rose. It's one that's been dug out of the field. You can only really plant those. They would recommend probably in the UK anyway, from November, maybe late October, through the autumn, through the winter and into early spring. By early March, really, where we are, you want to get these things in the ground. So here we are. We're doing this actually just before Christmas. We're doing this in middle of December, and the light levels are really low. It's wet and grey, but on the bright side, it will cheer up in spring. Only 3 months to wait. But planting this rose is going to be reminding me of summer. It's only a few months away, and it's an exciting time. So let's get this hole dug. Enough waffle. Let's get the spade out. There we go. Well, so far so good. These little quadrants of turf. Oh, there we are. Look. So there's the grass on the other side. They came off quite easily. Just a case of cutting the cross, cutting the kind of the edge there of the square, and then sliding the spade underneath the turf, and it came up nice and easy. Now the next step. Have we got a boulder underneath that hole? Let's have a little dig and find out. Well, that's a miracle. It's never happened to me before. Nice soft soil. We've dug down to well below a spade's depth there, and flicking the soil over to break up the kind of the hard soil beneath. The only thing I found is a cable tie. So now what I'm going to do is dig a kind of a hollow in the centre, take out some of that nice loose soil, so we've got room to spread the roots out in that hole. There we go. We've loosened the soil. You can start to see soil as you dig down deeper. It's a slightly lighter colour. That's a sign that we've got down to the subsoil. So to try and improve the soil lower down, I'm going to tip in a goodly load of old compost. This actually is old compost that we've previously used to grow potatoes in pots with. So there we go. We've tipped some compost in there, and we're now going to work that in around the bottom and the end, and around the sides of the hole, to improve the structure of the soil, to encourage the roots to make their way out. We don't want the roots to kind of stay in the hole. We want to encourage them out into all this lovely, seemingly soft soil that we have around here. This could be one happy rose. So let's start working that in now. Just gonna get the spade. That's the gentle version. Now I need to put my my phone down, put my camera down, and dig it in a bit deeper, which will require 2 hands. There we go. So we've worked that compost into the ground, so you can't see so much of that dark compost now, because it's all been mixed in to the surrounding soil, where it will encourage these bad boys, the roots, to spread their way out. So that's a really healthy looking plant. There's one little twig there, which we can trim off now with my trusty secateurs. And what I've got to do now is to kind of get this root system bedded into the soil. So I'm going to open up the roots a little bit and gradually, gently work them into the ground. So there we are. Dug out a bit more of the soil and compost mix now, and now I can start to get those roots bedded into the hole. Spread them out a bit. Go on, boys. You're going to love this little rose. Put a bit of soil back around, just so he stays upright, and then we can check to see. He's maybe a little bit too high here at the moment. So as I bring the soil back around, I'm going to firm down those roots so that they sink down into the ground and bring that join maybe another inch or so, another couple of centimeters deeper down, so that it's resting just at ground level. Here we go. Aha, now we're getting there. I've brought some more soil around, pressing down the roots as I went round, and tipped out some remaining. So I had a bit more compost left. There was a bit of compost inside the bag as well that the rose was sent in, so I've mixed that in around the roots as well. And now all we need to do is to get the remaining soil back around here. When we do this, it will initially look like we've got more soil than we need, because we've opened up the soil and it's made it all nice and loose. So there will be a little mound of soil around our plant here, but that'll sink down. There's rain forecast for the next 3 months, so that'll help compact down the soil again. It's worth saying that if there wasn't rain forecast, you would need to give this a good old watering, but because the soil is really moist and there's more rain coming, it's going to get very quickly, it's going to get plenty of water. No danger of it drying out over here in Wales in the winter. So now the turf that I lifted right at the start, instead of putting it back down green side up, I'm going to do a bit of this. Some of these sound effects that I've perfected over the years, I find very useful, but it must be said they're not essential. That's the way. Did that one the wrong way around. Get this one here, like that. Now we've more or less got it there, so I'm going to just use my foot to gently press that around there. So that grass that's now underneath that turf will rot down. And the other thing we're going to do is get some mulch, and we're going to. Probably won't do that until the spring. We'll mulch over here with some compost or some bark to keep the weeds, and maybe kind of create a little kind of circular or maybe larger square bed around there. Only thing I need to do is to trim off that one little snapped branch. Where's my secateurs? There you go. My trusty Falcos. There we are. Now that will probably need another trim in the spring, probably March time. You can see my other videos on my YouTube channel about how to prune roses different times of the year. This one will be in the spring prune. It's already had an autumn trim. You can see there's the cut ends here, so on the nursery where they were preparing this and packing it, they've given it an autumn trim, so that's fine now. I don't want to cut it back anymore before the winter, because when you prune a rose you can actually encourage it to grow, and we don't want this to be growing in the winter. We're just going to leave it go dormant, settle its roots in underneath there. Any questions, please write a comment on our comment section on the YouTube channel. We love hearing from you, our family of gardening friends from all over the world. Hope this helps. Let's see how this rose looks next spring and summer.